Now, instead of the chip going in the dip's going in the chip. Introducing Pringles sour cream and onion potato chips.
Where's my dip?
It's in the chip.
New Pringles sour cream and onion. The rich taste of sour cream and tangy onions in every scrumptious bite.
Oh, I love this dip. Even better in the chip.
New Pringles sour cream and onion. So delicious, because the dip is in the chip.
It's been 42 years since Gannon introduced its yogurt to America. And since that time, more than 125 other brands have followed. But to anyone who appreciates how good a natural-tasting yogurt can make you feel, there's still only one. Gannon is yogurt. Now there's also Gannon Extra Smooth.
Okay, into the showers. Let's build body with the Pro 1-2. The conditioner's new.
1, shampoo in, body in, fullness in.
Prel body.
2,
New Prel protein-enriched conditioner.
conditioner in, protein in, condition in, control in.
That's Prel body.
Full body shampoo.
And new Prel conditioner. It's my bodybuilding system for hair.
Who says new Liquid Tide cleans some of your toughest stains better than any other liquid? You do. And in nationwide tests, hundreds of you proved it. So did Judy Neese of Palos Verdes, California.
Liquid Tide is unbelievably clean, and my liquid is horrible. If I wouldn't have done it myself, I would never have believed it. The Liquid Tide got all of the stains out on both the grass and the blood. My detergent didn't do anything. I just love this Liquid Tide. I can't believe it.
You can say new Liquid Tide cleans better because you can see it cleans better. See for yourself.
Ma, what are you doing here?
It's your birthday, isn't it?
I'm not a kid anymore.
Well, I am.
People can't help but help themselves. People can't help but help themselves.
Duncan Hines makes a yellow cake moister than any leading brand. See, our batter is smooth, moister. Theirs not as moist. And our moister batter makes a moister yellow cake. So moist, it even clings to this fork.
Hey, I didn't get
This one's for you, big guy.
Oh, Ma, you're the best.
Delicious way to make your best.
Duncan Hines frosting. So smooth. We should have called it
It has the power of protein. The power to clean many tough stains. It's the power of Era Plus, the quarter cup laundry detergent with stain cleansing proteins. And while nothing gets out every stain, Era Plus has the power to clean many of the toughest. Era Plus, stains come clean with the power of protein.
Richard Petty talks about his all-time driving headaches.
Daytona 76, that was definitely a goodie. Charlotte 72, that was another goodie. Michigan 84, that was a real goodie. I've won over 200 races, but I've had over 700 headaches. So just take it from me. Goodies gets rid of the pain fast, and that's what counts.
Goody's headache powders and extra strength tablets.
This is Nick Charles. Join Kevin, Christopher, and me for Monday's headlines Sunday night on the sports page, 10:05 Eastern Time on Superstation WTBS.
Stay with the Superstation. Next, Super Football Saturday continues with Rock'em Sock'em gridiron action when Oregon takes on Washington State. Next on the Superstation.
America tells you when you're doing it right.
I wrote to Lee Iacocca and I said to him, please don't change it. I love it just as it is.
The Voyager doesn't handle like a van at all. It handles like a car.
It's like a bottomless pit. You just keep putting stuff in, and the more you put in, the more room there is.
It's terrific on the road. It's a teddy bear.
If Lee Iacocca was here, I'd tell him you did a great job. Don't change
a thing for me. Not if you care for me.
Plymouth, we're doing it right.
Weeknights, join Beverly Williams and Patrick Emery for a lighter look at your late night news. Sometimes off the wall, always close to home. Catch News Night at midnight Eastern on CNN.
Sunday, September 22nd, Willie Nelson headlines the strongest lineup of artists ever to perform for the benefit of an American cause. From Waylon Jennings to Billy Joel, it's a unique showcase of talent, and we'll bring you exclusive 12-hour coverage of this important musical event. Farm Aid, a concert for America. Sunday, September 22nd, beginning at 1 p.m. Eastern, noon Central, and 10 a.m. Pacific on TNN, the Nashville Network.
Hey, Rosie.
Hi, Swears. How was the big dance?
Oh, it's not me. Want to dance, Rosie?
Oh, good. A new step. Get something quick. I've got something quicker. Bounty. It gets spills before they get away. That was fast. Bounty's the quicker picker-upper. Shuffle over here. See how much faster Bounty soaks up liquid? The other towel pushes it along and lets it get away.
Bounty's quicker, all right.
And tough. Watch this. Now, even with cleanser, you can scrub with Bounty.
Look at that. Bounty is tough.
And fast. Always a quick step ahead. Bounty's the quicker picker-upper. Get spills before they get away.
Hey, what's going on in here? Baking cookies for Daddy's birthday, Mama. Well, honey, you better get out the butter flavored Crisco. But this recipe says margarine, Mama. Butter flavored Crisco will make it better, more buttery tasting.
Goldeny Rich Butter Flavor Crisco has no salt or cholesterol. Use it whenever your recipe calls for margarine. See, flavors can fade during baking, but Butter Flavor Crisco is made just for cooking. Margarine isn't. So Butter Flavor Crisco gives foods a rich, buttery taste no margarine can match. More buttery taste in every bite.
These are delicious. I think I'll take another. Hey, girls, I thought them was for your daddy. Butter Flavor Crisco for more buttery taste every time.
Hey, on Super Football Saturday night, Maryland gives Rick Vadonic a chance to show off real terrapin speed, while West Virginia counters with John Holyfield.
I know. I'm Lindsey Nelson, and I'm part of it.
All right, Super Football Saturday night at 8 Eastern on the Superstation tonight.
Crisco Oil's light taste brings remarkable lightness to cooking.
Remarkably light, ooh, delightfully light. True flavor in every bite. Crisco Oil's light taste sets the flavor free.
Next to corn oil, specially made Crisco Oil. Lighter, but it's really Crisco's light taste that brings out food's true flavor with no greasy taste and no cholesterol.
Deliciously, Crisco Oil's light taste sets the...
The Corbetts are about to start their annual reunion. Pepto-Bismol. As it coats, it relieves heartburn, upset. The one you.
The following message is going to come as a big surprise to you. Just take a look at this ring. It's the famous double rope band ring. This lovely ring is handset with a brilliant cluster of 30 genuine diamels, and the ring is layered entirely in genuine 14-karat gold. Yes, the double rope band ring you're looking at is the best-selling and most expensive ring ever sold by one of America's most famous jewelry catalogs. Yet now it's available from us exclusively through this TV offer for only $12.95. But wait, there's more. If you order promptly, you'll also get this beautiful triple
Welcome, everyone. I hope everybody's doing all right. Oh man, yeah, we got quite a bit to go over. I gotta be honest. Those of you who were here last night, I mean, I put up the voting poll to find out how you guys felt about going over this, because I honestly, my mind was like, why? All this stuff, they went over it in trial. We heard testimony on top of it, hours of it. So I was like, why? But then again, I gotta be honest. I'm intrigued to watch it without the testimony. And I and I just figured, I mean, I don't know. Probably at this point, it's interesting, the concern that she may be found not guilty for whatever reason, even though I didn't believe that would be the case. But there's always, until it happens, there's that concern that it's a possibility. And I wasn't, yeah, I mean, I I feel like it would be interesting to go over this stuff without those concerns. And and well, I'm gonna be tortured with her bullshit too. But I'm gonna try to make it fun. Because nobody says that I can't drag this fucking asshole. Now that she's convicted, now that she's done, now that we've seen all the evidence that she's as guilty as sin. And so, well, depending on whether this makes me mad or what, but I'm definitely going to give my thoughts. I watched a little bit of and I don't watch these guys a lot, but it showed up on my feed, and it's not anything against that. I just never got around to catching one of their streams. But the behavior panel did one on all this new footage that's been made available to us, and it's definitely, I the more I think about it, the more I understand why you guys wanted me to go over it, because any interrogation is fascinating. And it wasn't, and on top of that, we had to watch it, a camera showing a TV screen with really bad sound. So there was a lot of that I missed. I didn't catch almost any of it, unless it was, so I didn't really get to see, we didn't get to see Letitia's facial expressions. We didn't get to see a lot of her body language. We didn't get to see, so there's a lot of stuff. And the behavior panel was fascinating today, the way that they were discussing certain things. So yeah, it was really cool. So yeah, so we're just gonna go old school, and we're gonna drag this asshole. Because why not? And I'm trying to, I got my coffee. I gotta be honest with you guys. I'm like really just beat right now, man. I got up semi early, and I took my time, but I got up and I went to the gym, and I really like I really I worked out like an animal at the gym, and I did not expect to be this tired, and I think a lot of it is that I'm also, I'm trying to cut weight, and my diet is completely different. And yesterday I went to the gym and I felt great, even though I hadn't eaten in almost 48 hours. And then I went to the gym, and then afterwards I was like, yeah, who says you're going to get tired quick if you aren't eating a lot, and it happened today. And I came home and I ate, and I'm really like kind of enjoying. I'm making myself enjoy the food that I'm eating, even though I'm used to eating like, when I'm used to eating very fattening foods when I'm trying to like pack on muscle, things with a lot of protein. And I this is just protein pretty much. And so like I made it as tasty as I could. I made a chicken salad with celery and onions, and I got some hummus today, and I added some hummus to it, and I got Jerry, shut up. And I got some guacamole and some veggies, and like I made a thing about it. So it I feel better that I ate, but at the same time, I feel totally run down. And the gummy that's hitting me now, it's a matter of just whether it's going to hit me in a good way or a bad way while we're doing this stream. So we'll see. But now that you guys are all here, I'm actually a lot more excited about doing this stream. So I had my doubts about it at first, and I was just being real pessimistic about it. And now I'm like, well, you know what? There's a lot of good reasons to go over it. So, first off, we're going to go over the body cam footage, and I'm not sure exactly what this body cam footage is of. I think it's just when they answered the call to the house. So that's what I think is going on here. And we'll check that out real quick.
He had on he has several jackets. Like it depends on, I'm very like fashion, and I was going to figure out a way to put this in there from the situation, but
at least you got a carpet. Yeah,
right. I just took it and like covered up with the carpet and stuff like that. But
does he have any friends around here?
Some lady online had noticed it, like messaged us and had noticed that was him or the description, and she was like, "Was that him?" And I was like, "Yes."
Where was that picture taken?
I don't know. I honestly have about 150 Facebook messages that I haven't answered people on because you guys.
Oh God.
I took the covers that he was laying down.
I hate plunder. I didn't even know this was a plunder video, but whatever.
I just threw it on there because I got my daughter out and the dog's out. She was working, and it was something. I know. It was something that we were just like.
Did he take his bike?
No.
Okay, because somebody saw a little kid on a bike. They posted it, but I didn't know if he brought it.
Well, he did, unless he took it sooner and brought it back because Lena ends up getting the bike.
Okay.
And rides the bike because hers had broke. When she ran into him, I say ran into him as in not physically, right. But she somehow got his bike because hers wouldn't work. So he could have at one point.
Here.
Okay.
Yeah.
They were supposed to go pick him up for dinner.
Blue
and he never
black.
went home. They thought he was at his friend's house. He was like,
yeah.
I'm just started sleeping. So
we have him on one.
It's just so crazy. I mean, having watched her sitting in a courtroom and behaving like an absolute child, this is her at her best trying not to behave like an absolute child. Think about that. This is what she's doing. She is doing her best to come off like a concerned, scared, caring mother. And she is none of those things. She is the total opposite of that. We happen to know now, beyond a reasonable doubt, that she is a murdering piece of shit.
And he was never there.
There's one picture someone said he was on.
Okay.
And he was taking the switch.
Do you mind if my
So
partner
it's-
looks around the house real quick?
Yeah, yeah.
Because kids, they hide. And
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you.
They can hide for hours.
Yeah, no, we've already checked the camp, like the
Is there any other kids here?
ADT, there's kids here. I see.
And I was just thinking, if this officer, when he testified, if he, that's okay. You can like plunder. I mean, to each their own. I wonder. I don't remember specifically, but I think I remember him because I was just thinking. I wonder if he wanted to look around the house genuinely because kids hide or because she was acting suspicious. And I think I remember him saying it was genuinely because he thought kids hide in the house and he just wanted to take a look around and just be sure.
There's my sister, 2 dogs. Yeah, no, he's definitely he was out there for Zing and blah blah blah.
He stole it from the docket and then she stole it from the docket and then watermarked it. That's ethical.
So, just tell me a timeline. I know you said that y'all were going to get at 6.
Yeah, so it
You're
was.
supposed to go back here, but you went out there. What happened?
Okay, so he 3:15 coming every day. You have to find something, physical activity, something certain that he go ahead and do this. So pretty much he gets that. He always required him
And
to go outside.
you notice she doesn't shut the fuck up like ever.
All these things. So.
Pretty accurate, no problem. So, he did that. He didn't do that because you said his stomach was hurting. What happened instead of doing that?
He said no. He said he had already talked to my husband about being on position. So he said he was going to his friend's house to play video games.
Yeah, what time did he left at 3:30?
See, at this point, she's already cleaned. She's already disposed of the body before she had to move it again and take it to Florida. She's already, yeah. So here she is, just at the same time, she's a person like this, I believe, enjoys having some sort of imaginary power over the police. She feels like she is fooling them. She feels in control of this entire situation. And these authority figures who are in her home just don't know. And I feel like she's enjoying that.
I don't know the exact time because I was correcting his carpet thing downstairs.
Okay, so he.
And he's free. Like my husband's like more free than I am with the situation. I kind of always like, who's actually going to give me that number? That's how I was with her. But like he's like, oh, as long as everything ride, they can ride bikes, everyone's together type thing. So yeah. So
No, I don't think so. I don't think he's still in the house in the suitcase. It makes sense to me that she would. I mean, what makes the most sense here is that she called the police after she had already cleaned up and gotten rid of the evidence, or at least as much evidence as she thinks that she got rid of. So yeah, I don't think I think that she had already I'm pretty sure the security cam footage probably takes place the same night that she had the footage where she was backing the car into the garage. Now she could have had the suitcase in the trunk of the car in the garage, but I just don't think that that's accurate. I could be wrong though. I don't remember that particular detail exactly, but
all the time they go and ride and meet her. That's how we do it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. she reported him missing. I don't think that because you could see that there's no visible evidence here that a murder took place. So what I'm saying is it makes the most sense to me that she wouldn't have called and reported him missing and started her charade with Al and everything until after she had cleaned the house and gotten rid of everything. If you remember, she did all this pretty quick. She did all this pretty fast. She sent Lena out to play and kept them from going down to the basement. She was cleaning up almost immediately after. Right, exactly. So what I'm saying, it's clear that she already cleaned at this point, and it wouldn't make sense to me that she would not have gotten rid of Gannon's body prior to reporting him missing. No, that's wrong too. The brother, I think that she went back and got Gannon's body, and she was checked into a hotel with her brother and her family at that point. By the time they got there, she didn't keep his body in the house that long until her family got there. There's no way. That she disposed of the body on that corner of County Road and something else, and then she went back and got the body once she was already looking suspicious, and she caught on to the fact that she was looking suspicious, and then she fled to Florida. And that's when I believe her brother put the suitcase in the van for her, because the van was for her and Harley to go to Florida. So he put the suitcase in the van. That was days later.
Oh yeah, that's right. I was wrong. I think did I bring my thing in here? I think it might be in here.
Yeah, much love to you, Lex Lux. Hope you're doing better today. Appreciate you. Thanks, Grandmaster Sid Sophos.
Can you get her?
Okay, you guys got to know what you're talking about if you're going to especially argue with me in my chat. Like, you're sitting here saying the brother didn't touch the suitcase. He tried, but she wouldn't let him. That's not true, because he testified as to how heavy the suitcase was. He got emotional prior to that, but he lifted the suitcase. He was testifying and emotional about lifting the suitcase in trial, on the stand, testifying to this. We all saw it. So please, I mean, if you want to know everything, like, then go back, because there has to be something in you that says you're not sure. Because even me, I'll there's something I might seem and feel like I'm kind of sure of, but I could still tell myself humbly enough, maybe I'm wrong. You know what I mean? Maybe I'm wrong. Like, because I'm not here to argue and I'm not here to debate on the facts. But at the same time, you know, we also don't want to mix up the facts just for the sake of sounding like we know what we're talking about. You know, it's okay. Like the trial was already like a couple months ago. You know what I mean? I don't remember every detail, you know, but I'm perfectly cool with saying, you know, that I don't remember every detail. But don't put stuff in the chat if you're not sure of it, because it's misinformation. Even though it's not going to hinder an investigation or anything like that, but you know, let's, for the sake of keeping everyone here well informed and educated, you know, and educating ourselves, let's make sure we know the facts when we type them in here, so for sure and positively. Lex Lux, you have nothing to apologize for. Thank you so much, but you have nothing to apologize for. These things can get emotional, man. I got emotional with the Gannon case, you know, a few times. So I mean, you have nothing to apologize for. These things get to us from time to time. I have to take breaks, man, where I'm just like, I can't.
Sir, I think it might be in my car. So whenever you're
What might be in your car?
he wants my ID.
Oh, okay. Was this the car you guys had with you today?
Do what?
Was this the car you guys had with you today?
What do you mean with me today?
I mean, did you drive this car today?
Yes.
Okay.
No, I didn't drive that car today.
You did not drive this car
today.
Okay, all right.
Wow, she just tripped over her shit right there. And that would be the car, folks. That would be the car, because I remember someone testifying that they don't normally keep a car in the garage. But that would be the car that Gannon would be in. She backed the car in. It was proven in court that she backed the car in for the purposes of putting Gannon's body in the car without being seen. And since I mean, they're looking at the car right now. We'll see if he tells her to pop the trunk, but I'm pretty sure she already disposed of his body. I just don't see her calling the cops to come over to the house when she's planning on disposing of the body and then not disposing of it. It just doesn't add up to me. Now, okay, some of you guys may have already seen this today too, so we'll see. I don't know. I'm just saying it doesn't make sense to me. If she did, she did, you know, but it just doesn't, it doesn't seem like anything that she would have done in all her efforts of covering up her tracks.
Has he ever hidden in anything like this before?
No, this is no.
Okay, like you're so sure, but why do I remember him testifying? And maybe I misheard. Maybe it was the context and the volume, but I remember him specifically testifying about the fact that the suitcase was heavy. So if he didn't touch the suitcase, then Okay, if I misheard. So you're saying at no point he said anything about the suitcase being heavy and it bothered him. You're telling me that at no point this guy said anything about the suitcase being heavy. That I'm imagining that. And I might be. I might be. People make shit up in their minds all the time when they're thinking about things. So I'm not totally. Okay, so he did say how heavy the suitcase was. Okay, and he said she was struggling, so I must have missed that part. Okay. Okay. All right, that makes sense. Okay. And then maybe, I don't know, I got distracted for a moment and missed that part. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you. But I still don't think, even though this, we just got into a semantic argument, it really doesn't matter. But I'm silly like that. But I still don't think that the suitcase is still in the car, only because it doesn't add up than it would be.
Oh, okay. So I'm like, what is it? All right, so special PCIH. Yeah, yeah. Always more fascinating.
Middle initial or name.
For out of states.
Is there anybody down here?
Is the other dog? Yeah, that just says no one.
No one. Okay.
I mean, no one is down there.
Okay.
Huh? It's my maiden name, so it's hard to HARDIN.
That was after she had moved the body. She got suspicious. They got suspicious of her. She was getting pressure from the detectives, and then she went and moved the body. She went and picked it up, and her plan was to take it to Florida, and she took it to Florida. Why wouldn't he turn on the light? Okay, that I don't remember. I do not remember if the suitcase was, or what color the suitcase was.
Female, last name spelling, Sam Edward Ida, boy Edward Robert, first name spelling,
Like, at least these cops are doing their jobs right now. You know what I mean? Like, this officer is making a genuine effort to look for Gannon. Now, he's not looking for a body, but he's looking for a kid who likely, I mean, because think about it, unless you've got serious red flags, right? And you get a call that a kid, I don't know where he went, said he was going to play with a friend at a friend's house, and so he's entertaining the possibility and even arguably the likelihood that Gannon is just hiding. He's 11 years old and he's somewhere in the house hiding, and for whatever reason, who knows the dynamic in that house, and maybe he likes to hide, who knows. So this guy is, he's in the house and he's like, all right, well, let me take a look around. And she let him take a look around. But he's seems to be going in every single room, and I noticed that he's not turning on the lights when he goes into each room. And I feel like that's because he's genuinely entertaining the likelihood, like I said, arguably, that Gannon is hiding, just being an 11-year-old and hiding. Because the first thing that comes to your mind, unless you have red flags, is that this woman just brutally murdered him and cleaned up and then got rid of the evidence. You know what I mean? Like, that's not going to be on a cop's mind in Colorado Springs, going into a house, answering. And I mean, to him, that's one notch less dramatic than a domestic violence call, which he probably gets all the time. So he's not, you know what I mean? He's not, he doesn't know that he's looking for a body. And that's a great point too. You know what I mean? Like, we look at Letitia, but a good percentage of that, is we know that she's a killer. You know what I mean? Other than that, like, before, I remember I was doing the same shit back then that I do here all the time, and everybody was like, she's guilty, she's guilty, she's guilty. Totally Dawn and Candace style, right? But, she's was actually guilty. But the thing is I was basically saying the same thing. I was like, do I think this person is an asshole? Absolutely. And that's just based on her social media posts. None of this shit was available, but just on her social media posts and just on her her interview with her back turned to the camera. I was like, yeah, this person sucks, but that doesn't make her a murderer. Could be the kid ran off because she sucks so bad. You know what I mean? But this guy had no way of, you know what I mean? I feel like that's what's going to go through his mind. Imagine the people day in and day out that he deals with. Like, look at Bullhorn Betty. Okay? Take her, for example, right? Like, people, whenever she walks into a situation, everyone rolls their fucking eyes. Everybody's like, fuck. Letitia's one of those people too. The thing is Bullhorn Betty is not a murderer yet, but she's not a murderer. You know what I mean? So how many Bullhorn Bettys? Well, there's only one really, but how many people, like how many Karens, how many just people who don't want to shut the fuck up and just want to tell their life story when they just want the facts of the pertaining incident. You know what I mean? Imagine how many of these cops, different types of people they have to deal with on calls. You know, to him, she's nothing, at least not much stranger than anybody else that he deals with. If you think about it, how many drunks he's got to deal with. And I mean, so it's not going to jump to his mind that she murdered this 11-year-old boy. And I'm sure by doing his job, he's entertaining the possibility, like, obviously, I'm not just looking for the kid, but I'm looking for anything suspicious. But he's not jumping to the conclusion that she's a murderer. There's no way you could do that. I mean, like, this guy's been looking everywhere, dude. Like, they're not even trying to organize that shit. They're just throwing shit on top of like, it looked like some stuff, like Al was standing in the doorway and just tossed like a chair or something, just like, that'll make it up there.
Everyone, it's going to be 10127.
Okay. Now this looks like Gannon's room to me.
What kind of place? Ocean Zebra Boy, 385.
I'm not 100% sure that it is, though. Like I said, I've never seen this.
Ocean Zebra Boy, 385, clear the white 2017 facility registered to Danny Trent, 2805 North Arcadia, access break expiration 920.
This is the actual crime scene. This is crazy. I mean, there you have it. I mean, she cleaned up so thoroughly that at first glance, he saw nothing suspicious at all. He looked under the bed. He was looking to see if Gannon was hiding there. He didn't notice any noticeable blood stains on the wall. I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, let's face what really brought her down. What brought Letitia down? It was her behavior. It was her lying and lying and lying and lying and lying and thinking that she is, and delusionally thinking that she is so much smarter than everyone else, that these lies are going to work and nobody's going to catch on. But I mean, it's so possible, and this is an eerie thought, but it's so possible that if she wasn't, now arguably one could say that, you know, her being a murderous piece of shit and being this liar kind of go hand in hand. But in an alternate universe, if she was actually a more calculated person and not so delusionally narcissistic, she could have gotten away with it. I mean, that's a scary thought. Like, when you really think about it, what really brought Letitia down was her own behavior, lack of remorse, lack of concern, only concern for herself, lying after lying after lying after lying to Al, to recorded conversations, lying to investigators. I mean, and something in her mind, for her to lie that much, has to tell her that these people are going to believe her, that she's smarter than them, and her lies are going to fool everyone else. That mentality is what brought her down. That mentality itself was an agent in getting Gannon justice, ironically.
He wasn't in here this week. That stuff is down there, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Can I show him about this stuff? I just didn't want to do stuff on the cutter, the box thing. I think I still had down there. Okay, because you weren't in here. You weren't in here in the beginning, right? I thought I didn't know if I had that box cutter and all that stuff in there because I told him about he dropped the candle last night,
Oh, okay.
and I thought I must have picked it up. I was just making sure. I didn't want you to be like, oh, just a box cutters. But yeah, I had to cut this, and I told them I wasn't even going to tell Dad, and I was going to figure out a way to put this in there from the situation, but.
At least you got a carpet. Yeah, good.
Right, I just took it and like covered up with the carpet and stuff like that. But
Does he have any friends around here?
Yeah, Valentina, Dallas. We don't do that here. we don't entertain those things here. Okay. There are other channels. Mexi's a great channel. You could check him out, and that's the kind of stuff. I've even done streams with Mexi, but here we don't entertain those things.
there is let me look on this thing. He did have this one like book thing.
That's where you're supposed to be at down the road.
But they checked that already?
They went over there and talked to him, and they're like, no, we hadn't seen him at all.
Oh, okay.
He did have this like
And you talked to parents, right? You didn't talk to.
Yeah, Connor's mom came over, who is a friend he hangs out with all the time. So they come over. The people here, the friends, they were just the ones that were the door with the bike.
Okay.
They came over. A bunch of people came over. Yeah. So
Any friends?
He did have like a little book that had names on it, but I don't know. I don't see it like anywhere specifically because like his wallet, he's not like I teach 5th grade and like, you got your.
See, this is interesting because she's like posting herself as close to the door as she can to keep him from going back any further. She's being very protective of the crime scene because that's the crime scene directly behind her. So this is interesting to actually see this.
They're like really, really mature kind of boys, but then waiting. He forgets to like bring this or bring that or bring this or bring that.
Still kid.
Yeah.
So no clothes are missing or nothing?
No, we actually lay out all the clothes all the time, like for, like every day at school.
Like her heart must be jacked right now because there's a cop literally staring at where she committed one of the most brutal murders I've ever even heard of. She shot, stabbed, and bludgeoned him to death. And then cleaned it up. So she can't be 100% confident. But right now, she's getting a dopamine rush from the fear and from him actually not seeing anything. She's getting off on this, but she's also being very protective. Subconsciously, she's being very protective of that area. She's moving to block it and obstruct his view as best as she can. But her focus placement is where the blood spatter is, directly behind her.
Oh, we lay out clothes, we do whatever.
Is his jacket gone?
He had on he has several jackets. Like it depends on, I'm very like fashion. So like it just depends on jackets. Like
wow.
He might have this black one with this, or there's a blue one with this.
So he had a jacket.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Several jackets. Like you see the kid has, like tons and tons of clothes, and he just,
Okay.
he has all that stuff. So
Dude, she's freaking out right now.
and he took like none of this.
You see what she's doing is he got behind her. He got behind her. Shut up, Cherry. And what he did here, what she did here was she started to try to focus their vision and attention on something opposite of Gannon's blood spatter. So what she's doing right now is she's pointing at the floor going, this stuff right here. She's very calculated in what she's doing. It's very fascinating to see this. This is like pro deceptive liar. This is like, this is the Miss Universe of deceptive, lying sacks of shit, because she is that careful to not look suspicious, yet to direct their attention away from the blood spatter.
Like these are his favorites. All of these things.
Very manipulative. Incredibly manipulative.
All right. He's going to grab some more questions.
You almost have to respect it. You almost have to just like somebody who has a talent in fucking anything at that level. There's like this microscopic level of, you have to respect it, because she's clearly incredible at it. And it's infuriating. It's infuriating because here we are and we're watching these police officers in the very room where she murdered an 11-year-old boy in a way that is almost unheard of. In the most hateful and rage-filled way, and then cleaned it up to the point to where they're standing there in that direction, and with their naked eye, they can't see anything suspicious whatsoever. And she is carefully controlling her behavior while pointing and directing, trying to apply misdirection from that area so that they just don't look over there. And it minimizes their chances of being able to see anything suspicious. It's fucked up. It's absolutely fucked up.
Questions and
okay.
How long have you guys lived here?
Maybe like a year and something now. Yeah.
And you have talked to all of his friends' parents in the area?
I'm not the person that talks to the friends. I don't have numbers. I don't say yes. I don't say no. My husband tells him yes or no. So he has all the numbers.
So there could be some friends that you don't know.
Right.
But if he stays with you, because that was already very suspicious. This was in the arrest affidavit. And she claimed that she didn't know the friends, didn't know how to contact them. But here she is. I mean, Gannon's in her care. Why wouldn't the parents communicate that? But again, that's suspicious. But by the time we saw this, everyone was already suspicious of her. But if you're a cop, would you be suspicious of that at that moment? And I'm going to say probably not. I'm going to say probably not, because parents communicate how they communicate. If you're a cop, you're dealing with shit all the time, whether it's a stolen thing from, this friend stole my bicycle, well, I don't talk to the parents. I don't know the parents. And it's weird that the other parent wouldn't communicate how to get in touch with their friends. But really, I mean, could have just slipped their minds. It could have just slipped their minds. So I don't blame the cop if he's not suspicious at all at this point right now.
I don't know the people like that. And a lot of the time that I was here, I had a job on the East Coast.
Mhm.
So I had to fly back and forth for a lot. So I didn't really meet a lot of people, like my husband did. And he's like, always want to be the one to talk to everybody about it. And so,
Well, how about your husband? Does he talk to these people?
yeah, he's been on the phone with a bunch of them. He's in Oklahoma, Fort Steele right now.
Is there anybody he hasn't been able to get a hold of?
No, he said he's talked to everyone that he knows of. The only concern we had is he was talking about the friend with the older sibling, and we don't know who that one is. That's the one we don't know.
Do you guys have a name for that?
Because we don't know who that person is. We've never heard him say like specific.
Again, her back is directly facing the blood spatter on the wall. It's lined up with it. She's trying to block. She's trying to obscure the sight path.
Specific name. And my husband said when he talked to him today that there was no specific name for. But he didn't give him a name. He just told him no. So.
And he took his game console bill.
Yeah, they have a couple of different consoles.
And one of them's gone.
Switch Lite. They have a 2DS, a 3DS. One of them is gone. It was in the bluish black. Wait, no, that one might be in red. I don't remember. I just know in the video you can see that, or the picture that the lady had, you can see he's got something right here and it's far down.
Which picture is this?
So some lady online had noticed it, messaged us and had noticed that was him or the description, and she was like, "Was that him?" And I was like, "Yes."
Where was that picture taken?
I don't know. I honestly have about 150 Facebook messages that I haven't answered people on because you guys showed.
Was it local? I mean, was it in this?
Yes,
Lorson
in Lorson Ranch. Someone put it on the Lorson Ranch page, and so a lot of people just kept sending messages, information. First, someone said they saw him get in a white SUV. Then someone said they caught it on their camera. They were all supposed to be sending this to me, but as I was talking to all these people on Facebook, because my husband gave the neighbor permission to post it, you guys came and I kept having alerts, and I weren't gonna
Just look at this one's at the door.
Huh?
It's at the door.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. I know you probably gave some of this information to dispatcher already, but can you give us a description of him from top to
Yeah,
bottom?
so,
hair color, eye color, any article?
Yeah, so brown, very pale, whitish color skin.
I guess he's at this house, but they don't.
And then
God, that's so crazy, dude. There was 3 cops in Gannon's bedroom right there. I mean, I don't remember from trial, but did they say that they smelled? I think I remember hearing them say that they didn't smell anything or cleaning products, or they did and didn't think anything of it or something to that effect. But I find it impossible that they didn't smell bleach in that bedroom. I just don't see how they could have been in that bedroom at that time and nobody smelled bleach. I mean, think about it. Like, and only one smelled cleaning products. See, that's not good. I mean, that's a point for the defense right there. Not that it matters now, but that's a point for the defense right there. Because if only one of the officers smelled it and the other two didn't, then the defense could be like, well, then there was no smell. You know what I mean? So, but it's crazy because those cleaning products, I mean, it was fresh. She had just cleaned up that area. So, I mean, and it's crazy. There were 3 cops in there, and maybe, yeah, the burnt carpet, or maybe they just assumed that because of the burnt carpet, she was trying to clean, and that's what happened. But it would have been interesting if somebody would have asked. You know what I mean? It would have been interesting to have seen her reaction if somebody actually had the foresight to ask, "Hey, wow, it smells really clean in here." You know, it would have been interesting to see what her reaction would have been.
And the parents may not notice.
And then
Well, they said
410.
there was a weird text that Dad got about something about
90
bath
pounds,
salts,
maybe?
and hey, if you
And then I
if
sent
I
you that
can get some
picture
bath
that-
salts, do we have any bath salts? And my friend will let me play Sonic or something at their house.
You sent that to your dad?
Yeah, I got it. And then Mom goes through everything, finds like.
Look at this. She's just standing there looking demented as fuck. And that just goes to show, man. Because she looks demented because we know she is. But it just goes to show that they just look like everybody else, you know? Scary thought, because she's sitting there diabolical as fuck and listening to the one officer communicate with the other officer about the text coming from Gannon's phone that she sent, but they don't know that. They're still looking at her as the concerned mom.
Like a well, this part. Yeah. That's not bad, yeah. Yes. Correct.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm glad I decided to go over this because this is definitely fascinating to watch. But not, during the trial, because we can actually hear it, we can actually see it. So it's interesting.
No, we're still getting the runaway report right now.
Harley. Yeah. Did you get it? Who was it?
Okay, I appreciate it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I
I just didn't want any
There's
people,
not any
neighbors popping in.
I know. I think there's definitely viral. So things pop up on
Yeah. So he wanted to
What clothes was he wearing?
blue jacket, blue jeans.
And had a game console that he left with, so he's probably at somebody's house right now playing games.
I mean,
That's why me and my husband.
in theory, you're right. In theory, you're right, but they did everything by the book. You know what I mean? These guys aren't detectives. They're here to take a statement. They're here to gather information. You know what I mean? They're not detectives. They're uniformed officers with a lot less responsibility than someone whose responsibilities would include looking for suspicious behavior, that, looking at the mom and wondering if she's lying and blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? It's just not their job to do that. And she's very manipulative. And they have to be careful because maybe they're trying to be optimistic and think that she's just doing a good job of holding herself together when she's very worried about her missing stepson. I mean, maybe these guys are just doing the right thing as far as what their pay grade goes for. I mean, let's think about that. You know, these guys, I mean, like I said, in theory, a good training video, well, you know, that's all well and good, but the reason why I just don't necessarily agree with that is just because there's too many variables where I'm just looking at like these guys didn't do anything wrong. These guys they gathered information and then they move it up the chain to the people that actually investigate. These guys are not investigators. So I don't think that they did anything necessarily wrong here. It's not their job to go in there and be suspicious. It's their job to collect information and pass it on to the ones who actually investigate these things.
Husband absolutely think, and we think he we
Jacket.
absolutely think that, and we've calmed our stress level down after our 4-hour week over that.
Like a thick, heavy winter jacket, a sweatshirt, windbreaker.
No, like the ones I was showing you guys in there, kind of like a little windbreaker type. Yeah.
Okay. Good to know.
Is there anything distinguishing?
Okay, perfect,
about
yeah.
him? Does he wear?
I'm mid, so I'll be on the line.
No, they asked me about tattoos and earrings and all that.
Like
stuff.
I'm gonna
There
end
was
up,
nothing.
I'm gonna end
Okay,
up asking
perfect.
a whole lot of the same questions that dispatch asked.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah, if you hear anything from the school, let us know, please. All right. Oh, bye. Just on Roy Cat.
Okay.
Yeah, we already talked to a bunch of people at the school.
Yeah, they said head of security.
Because
so
there was a game or something tonight, and so that was like one of the things we were thinking. If I guess you know they went to like the basketball game or something. But
he said there was Parks and Rec going on, so
Smith.
Yeah. What?
Yeah.
It was the off duty.
That's very, very true. I have to acknowledge the fact that was, you know, I don't care what it is that you believe in, but something that is just beyond luck. That someone was doing a bridge inspection that they only do twice a year and found Gannon's body. That was incredible.
no,
Okay.
he said somebody in the neighborhood or something.
See if a dentist he goes to.
If you guys want to call my husband,
Yeah, we can do that. We can do that. We'll
'Cause
follow up because
I mean,
he might have a little bit more
overwhelming me with these
information.
things,
Yeah.
and I don't do a lot of the.
Okay.
He does all that.
How long's he been over there stationed?
He's not. He's stationed here. He's just at Captain Career Course.
Okay.
Yeah. So they go to a dentist. I think it's like Fountain Dentist, maybe.
Okay, we can
Everything
go.
else is on base.
We'll
'cause
give him a
it's- Yeah.
What's his name?
Al, A-L. Stauch, S-T-A-U-C-H.
Phone number?
843.
RO for valid protection orders. There's a phone number for the RO on your screen too.
Oh, right.
Yes.
Are we back on 3?
I'm on 3.
They call it code.
Cool. We'll give him a call. Try to get some more information.
Yeah, I mean, as far as like the medical, dental, you know, like he'll know like all that stuff because he takes them on base.
All right. Well, we'll go give him a call in the car real quick and see if we can get any information. Then
Okay.
we go on our side, and then if not, we'll come back and or we'll give you a case number for
Okay.
the runaway and everything. Okay. All right. Thanks.
My dog's come down here now.
I didn't see him.
Okay. They know about electricity. We have gas and electricity.
Five.
Any choice in gathering any of those?
It's like
Wi-Fi connected.
I mean, it's just, she did everything. She did everything to cover her tracks, except use common sense when you lie. It's crazy how much effort she went into it. I mean, that was the thing. It's like, if she wasn't such a horrible and pathological liar, she could have actually probably gotten away with it. Thank God she wasn't. All right. So, okay. Hold on. Okay, now it looks like we're going to do this in parts. I'm going to keep going, but it looks like we're going to do this in parts because one of these is over 3 hours long, the other is over 4 hours long. So we're going to start with the police interrogation video. This is before she goes to the hospital. But yeah, we're going to do this for maybe about another hour and 15 minutes. And then we'll do a part 2.
Investigations uploads, I'm sure you will find absolutely not you are considered you are geeks from the way. I'll put the link in the description.
Building. And then just because you're in here and you're in our building and stuff, do you mind if I just pat you down really quick? That's how we hug. I just need you to face that way for me. I wasn't sure if you needed me. Yeah, go ahead and just put your arms out for me and just separate your legs slightly for me. Okay. There you go. Nothing that's gonna like poke me or anything. Like you're not diabetic or anything, are you? No. Okay. Just a phone. Okay. Okay. Anything in your purse? Like, okay. Okay. Perfect. Thank you. All right. If you just want to have a seat on the couch, we'll be right back with you. Okay. Thanks. Hey. Hey. How you doing? Good. Did you get some sleep? I haven't eaten today. Oh my goodness. Do you want something to eat? I've got some stuff. I would love that. What would you like? I've got some pizza Hot Pockets and some tamales and a breakfast burrito. Pizza Hot Pockets would be good. But I mean, you don't have to like. I don't know. We can
Now remember,
yeah, that's totally.
They're totally suspicious of her already at this point. She's saying, I just want to talk to you. She's already spoken to her on the phone where Letitia tells the detective, listen, I know what you guys are doing. She's paranoid. She's like, I know what's going on. And then she's just like, we just want to talk to you and find out where Gannon is. That's all we want. And we need you to come in. And she drove, I believe it was the Jetta. I could be getting the cars confused, but I believe it was the Jetta. She drove it to the precinct, and the detectives noticed that it had just been cleaned, that it was wet from the car wash, and it had not been raining. So by the time, because she was already acting crazy, these detectives are seriously suspicious of her at this point. And they are incredibly professional. They already know the type of person they're dealing with. I believe that the detective gut feeling kicks in these detectives, and we're seeing it was the Tiguan, thank you. And we're seeing her we're seeing these detectives deal with her accordingly. They've already got an assessment. It's fascinating.
Totally fine.
Playing to her, they're trying to make her feel super comfortable. They already know, she's already demonstrated on the phone that she was paranoid and felt like they were attacking her. So the only approach here, logically, in theory, would be exactly what they're doing, which is that you just gotta like really, really walk on eggshells here to get her talking.
Yeah. Let me get that started for you. I have like Coke and Sprite and like apple juice.
Once you get her talking, she doesn't stop.
Do you want something like that? You have diet? We searched high and low for
I'll
diet,
just take
and there's no diet.
I'll take a regular Coke. Thank you.
All the vending machines are even sold out.
Thank you so much for getting that.
Yeah, absolutely. Here's my card, just so you have it, so I don't forget later. And I'll get that. Okay. So that's my partner, Detective Houston. I know you saw Mark with me yesterday. Right. I work with a couple different people. Okay.
So you're like in charge of?
No, I wouldn't necessarily say I'm in charge. Yeah. It's just, we all pitch in and help out where we can. So Mark helps me whenever I'm out and about, and Kat helps me whenever I'm here.
Right.
So she's going to be hanging out with us. And I also have something going on. So if this ends up
and I noticed this too. I think I mentioned it during the trial. Like, this is the most comfortable looking interrogation room, and the behavior panel pointed that out too. Like, it just seems like it almost designed for family counseling. Very bizarre. I've never seen an interrogation room look like that.
Going over, which is totally fine. I just want you to know who Kat is and that. Okay. No problem. Where did you park? Did you park in the garage? Mm-hmm. The garage that's right behind our building?
I got a parking ticket, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Perfect. For validation, what kind of vehicle were you in? So that I can put that on the validation slip whenever because I'll give you something to turn in so you don't have to pay.
Yeah, it's a Volkswagen Tiguan.
It's a Volkswagen Tiguan?
Yeah.
Okay. And let's see, what else? So I'm just going to go through my normal spiel with you.
Okay.
I know that we talked last night, but because you're in here in the police building, I want you to know certain things, okay? Right. So first of all, you're in here voluntarily. Mm-hmm. You can leave. Okay. You just have to let me know that you want to leave.
Right.
Because I need to escort you out of the building.
Okay.
Okay? If there's ever a time that you need to take a break, you need the bathroom, you need more water, you're still hungry, whatever it is, let me know. Okay? I can't read your mind, so I need you.
You could see Letitia's like really going all out to sound as cooperative as possible. Because it's crashing down on her right now, the reality that this is now an interrogation.
To let me know what's going on with you, so that I can help you. Mm-hmm. Okay? Because the whole purpose of this, of us talking, is to gather some information. And I
have a question about that. I understand that.
Now, it's technically an interview. I'm just saying, let's just call this what it is. These people are suspicious of her, and she's being questioned.
It's recording and all that. It's totally fine. But does that usually stay within the court and stuff like that? I'm just asking.
Yeah. So this
because I'm gonna have to tell you some very personal things.
Okay. And that's perfectly fine.
Yeah,
and so it is not our common practice to go and be releasing stuff like that.
Look at that fake
Also,
smile.
another little admin thing that I do just to sort of kind of cover my butt whenever I have people in here talking is to go over a Miranda waiver. Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean that you're in trouble. It's just because you're in a police station, and I want you to be absolutely certain of your rights.
Right.
Okay? So I'm going to go over that with you right now. So you have the right to remain silent. Thank you. Okay. So
I'm glad they fast forwarded through that.
You know, I know I met with you yesterday. We talked on the phone. We texted. We've been talking with each other a lot. But because this is recorded, I want to get, like, let's start from the basics.
Okay.
Have who you are. Do you have your ID?
Yeah.
In your purse? Oh, those are nice glasses.
Yeah, they're Dips.
What are they?
Dips.
I haven't heard of that. Is that a new,
Like a Quay brand.
Quay?
Yeah. They're really good. They're like better than like the Michael Kors and things
Oh,
like
really?
That. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's.
So I know this is your South Carolina ID.
Dude, this woman is a monster. Like, the only reason she's not up there with Eileen Wuornos is because she's not a serial killer. But this woman is an absolute demon. She is evil incarnate. I truly believe this.
Mm-hmm. Oh, thank you so much.
What's your middle name?
Okay. Well, it's I do my maiden name, which is Hardin, Hardin.
Hardin?
Yes.
Okay, and that's your maiden name?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let me just write down Claire's deal number.
Do
Do you have a given middle name?
Lynn.
Mm-hmm. L-Y-N?
Yes, ma'am.
There you are. Thank you. What's a good phone number for you in case I need to get a hold of you?
And imagine what it's like in that room right now. Like, she stinks. You know she stinks. You know that it's difficult for them to sit in that room with her, with her greasy, unwashed hair, her dirty ass jaws.
I don't ever drink sugar, so this is probably going to be like so good.
What is, in case I need to send you any documentation via email, how can I do that?
It's TECIA, like my name.
Are you on any social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram?
Well, I
Twitter?
wasn't for a long time, but just recently I just got like my Facebook back because we didn't have for like 2 years. So I do have a Facebook, but I've always had Instagram, but it's mostly like a travel YouTube type thing.
Okay, what's Facebook?
It's just my name.
Is it Letitia or Tisha?
It's Letitia. Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, you said.
Tara Pink, is your hair greasy because you don't wash it? Then if it's greasy because you don't wash it, you stink. I promise.
It's under Tisha?
Mm-hmm. Oh, actually it's not. It's because I abbreviated it. It's TT.
Is it your same last name?
Mm-hmm.
Stauch?
Yeah, because I really don't like, my first name, I'm always like, oh, Tesha. They're like, what Kesha? So I just put T because
Have I been saying your name wrong?
No, you haven't, but I always try to change it. My mom didn't like it, so like we tried to change it. So yeah, so I just gave up, just said put T.
What do you want me to call you?
You can call me
Tasha, T?
You can call me Tisha, which is my
Tisha, okay.
You know, we always have a name we don't like or something. Mm-hmm.
And you said Instagram.
Look at her sitting there.
Now my Instagram.
Just eating Hot Pockets and whatever the fuck it is that she's eating. Like, like this reminds me of like Chris Hansen. You remember Chris Hansen, To Catch a Predator? Like, dudes are always sitting there eating cookies and shit. Like, totally busted. Totally caught trying to hook up with like a 13-year-old. And they're like, oh, what am I doing here? I'm eating cookies. That shit made me crack up every fucking time. Chris Hansen's all with his clipboard. Did you say that you wanted to blah, 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 blah? Did you think that this was a 13-year-old? I mean, no, but it says right here, how old are you? 13. Oh, that's my favorite. And then he's like, yeah, you're free to leave. And then the cops tackle him when they get outside. Oh my God, this shit is so funny to me.
Instagram is under Dr. Stauch.
Dr. what?
Stauch.
Is it the spelling of your last name?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because I have my doctorate degree in education.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, is this like a Dr. Pimple Popper kind of thing?
Mm-hmm.
So it's for your education doctorate.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then address that I need to set if I need to mail anything.
Oh my God. Marie Kitchen. Glare, do yo ever take anything seriously? Be honest if you can, please, in my opinion. I take grammar pretty seriously.
And where are you working?
Well, I was working with WD3, but I didn't want to work as a teacher anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided I was going to be a flight attendant. So that's currently what I started doing with Spirit. So I had been going back and forth doing like FAA. First you have to get like a study guide. I know you probably are like, oh, you have your doctorate degree, you want to be a flight attendant. You know, I just like to travel. But my goal is to like teach online too and do the flight attendant, so I could do both.
Sure.
So I've been looking over my books with Spirit and like things like that, so that I could go to training. So I was supposed to go to training. We get like a training date February, March, April. So in the meantime, I was just doing like subbing at the early college. That's why I told you early college, picking up sub shifts and stuff like that.
Okay, so you're more of a substitute.
Well, I was just a fifth grade teacher at French, but teaching has gotten so difficult in the elementary schools. I don't want to do it anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's kind of like in between. I just finished working with them, and
yeah, I'm sure kids nowadays are a handful, right?
it's hard because I did special ed for so long, because that's what my doctorate's in, and then you're like, oh, like you try to help so
You
many.
see what she's doing right there? She's trying to get like some sort of moral credit. No, Tara Pink, someone actually testified in court that she stunk. Okay, I'm not being unnecessarily unfair here. I'm sorry you're still stuck on this, but her hair is literally greasy from not washing it. Someone testified in court about it. The FBI agent that interrogated her even said so, I believe. So, yeah, she stinks because she hasn't showered.
You try to help so many people, and it's just hard.
All right. So you're gonna do flight attendant with Spirit?
Well,
have you been picked up by them yet?
Well, I got an offer letter from Spirit, an offer letter I just got one yesterday from SkyWest.
Oh, okay.
And the reason I like SkyWest is because they have a domicile in Colorado Springs and in Denver, so you can actually like work there, and I could do both at the college. Because I was gonna, I thought it was something vibrate. I was gonna do like Pikes Peak, and like I'm sure I wouldn't have a problem because I just finished this past year. I was gonna just do them both, and then so I hadn't decided. But now that SkyWest just had offered it, I was like, that would be perfect because it was just like centrally located, you know.
Right.
Where you could come home all the time.
Yeah.
So that was a big problem that we had, is because I was going to take the Spirit job and then I wouldn't be based anywhere. They don't have a base anywhere in our area.
What I was saying before when she was talking about, like, she knew what the cop was doing. The cop was like, kids can be a handful. She knew exactly where she was going with that kids can be a handful comment. And then she was just like, yeah, that's, I taught special ed. And right there, she's trying to shift her mindset to looking at her as someone who helps kids, that she has the heart for helping kids. It's very manipulative, and it's fucking slick, but it's not that slick because she can't keep up with her lies.
So like I would have had to be in Las Vegas.
Oh wow.
So I would never get to see anybody at home, and then you like stay in these crash pads.
Mm-hmm.
Are you familiar with it?
We were on vacation with some people who the wife used to be a nurse, and she actually transitioned into being a flight attendant.
Right.
She was telling us all about it. Actually.
Right. Yeah. So
that's kind of scary.
I started getting
familiar.
I did start getting scared about it being in Vegas, and I was like, man, I'll never get to see everybody at home, and like, and I mean, I love the travel part. So then I was stuck with traveling but being alone, or traveling with everybody else, but maybe not as much here. So, but anyway, that was in a nutshell. I was kind of in a self-evaluating. Is it okay if I just stop that? Because it's like vibrate.
Yeah, that's fine.
It drives me crazy. But yeah, look at, so I was in like a self evaluation type thing, trying to figure out, transitioning from education and never having like another career was like, and then like worrying about how people would look at you like, oh, you have a doctorate degree and you're a flight attendant, you like.
I mean,
you guys, like,
right,
don't make money.
right, Sam B. I mean, dude, listen, I can appreciate you just being wanting to be kind, I guess. I can appreciate that, but we're talking about a woman who was proven in a court of law that she murdered an 11-year-old boy, and showed absolutely no remorse for it, showed the court no respect. At this point, I have no moral issue with saying that she eats her own feces if I want to. Anything goes when it comes to Letitia Stauch, simply because she is a shitbag who murdered an 11-year-old boy. Simple. And we get to do this.
Right.
Yeah.
My niece is actually a flight attendant, so for Southwest.
They said that's the best one, and whenever they have openings, it shuts the website down.
Oh,
that's what I heard.
That's pretty awesome. I didn't know about that. Yeah, apparently it's really hard to get into because they're supposed to like handle emergencies in the air. So
yeah, and like the training is so. You think people just think we will serve people, but the training is so.
I heard it's very intense.
Yeah, they like do ditching exercises. They kick people out every day. If you're late for class for 1 minute, kick you out.
Oh wow. And that's good. We need standards like that whenever we're
so like
flying.
what happened, let me just tell you this in case it comes up like somewhere, but Spirit flew me out to do the December 20-something training, right? Problem is I didn't have anybody to watch Harley, and I was working night shifts, and so it's always hard because it's always on me to find babysitters for everybody.
It's so funny because it doesn't even occur to Letitia, it doesn't even occur to her that they want her to talk as much as she is. This is all being recorded. They want her to talk and talk and talk and talk. And she's so delusional, thinking that they are actually interested in her efforts to impress, that she just keeps going. She just, instead of just being like, I should have a lawyer here. I mean, I feel like I should have a lawyer, like no matter what, innocent or guilty, if you're in that position, like I feel like I need a lawyer, especially at that point, especially after she read me my Miranda rights. Once she read me the Miranda rights, I'm going to see that as an option. I'm going to be like, oh, because you say, I'm interested in those words when you just said, anything I say can and will be used against me in a court of law. So I guess I better not say anything without a lawyer present. So I think I need a lawyer. And that's it. I don't think they had enough at this point to arrest her. I don't think they had nearly enough to actually arrest her yet at this point.
All the kids. It's always on me. So I get out there, and he was supposed to help.
Because I don't think that they actually found the blood spatter at this point. I could be wrong about that too. Bad at timelines. But I don't believe that they've got the warrant to search her house yet. I think they got the warrant to search the Tiguan. I know it. I just, it's hard for me to remember at what point, but I'm pretty sure it was the Tiguan first. And then they searched the house, like with forensics, like in like really searched the house.
No, she's 17. We let her stay by herself, whatever. But through the night, because he was working 6 p.m. to 6 a.m., that kind of scared me. And so, like, she just joined the Air Force. So, like, I know she's going to have to learn how to, like, shoot a gun, protection, but, you know, like, she's not ready yet. Mature. Like, she's very mature, but she's not ready. So I came back.
That's
and I was,
right.
Like, talking to them. I
Good-
just told them, I
good
was like, my
call.
daughter's at home, whatever. And they're like, we can move you to the next class. Like, I think it was February, whatever. So anyway, so just in case you're like, oh, I thought you were, but I did fly out. They flew you out or whatever. And I came back because I was panicking about her, the dogs, everybody being taken care of. So.
Oh, she's your baby, right?
Yeah.
So,
Same here.
why don't we talk a little bit about what's going on? So start.
Yeah, because you're boring the shit out of us, and you know we got families to go home to.
Understand. So initially you didn't tell me some things because Albert was there, and when we say Albert, we're talking about Eugene.
Yes. He doesn't like Eugene because his dad is Eugene, and he was a child molester.
Okay.
So like he like raped his sister. So he
Oh my
freaks out
God,
about
bro.
the word, like if he hears Eugene. But I was said maybe that might help you.
You're lying.
If you don't have to call him
And you're a piece of shit.
Eugene, it probably would be.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what I want you to do is take me through Sunday into Monday.
Okay.
And be as detailed as possible as to what you were doing, who was there, where you were at, how long you spent, et cetera, et cetera. Because the more detail I have, it might spark something for me.
Is it okay if I take my notes out? Because like I wrote down all
Yeah,
kinds of stuff.
yeah,
and I was
absolutely.
Because I was like, I tried to write down anything he might like say, and just in case, because I have like notes from different things or whatever. So we already talked about the beginning things, so I figured you're reading that. So my paper is that we're at the same story that we started with, but then you want me to start with Sunday, which was the day that we went hiking, right?
Yes.
Okay. So we went hiking at Garden of the Gods. We actually, did you see the picture from Garden of Gods?
I didn't.
Okay, so we have pictures where we went to Garden of Gods. We were going to take the dogs for a walk, but then my daughter got called in to work because she works at Massage Envy.
Okay.
So we were like, okay, we're going to go hiking. The crazy thing is, like, it's always like, you got one kid likes to hike a lot, the other one don't. So spent the whole time like, come on, let's go. We got to burn calories. Excuse me. All those type of things. Gannon, he started having a stomach problem, and he pooped in his pants. So it kind of cut our hike a little bit short. But I was like, it's okay. It was getting kind of cold. I say cold for me, but I'm used to like 80-degree weather, so it was kind of getting cold. So we decided to go home.
Okay.
So we go home. I don't really remember what we did the rest of the day. It was probably just like random things around the house. I feel like we went to dinner. Oh no, we didn't get dinner because he wanted to take a bath. That's what it was. So he came in and he asked me about the whole bath salt thing.
Okay.
And he had pooped in his pants, so I thought he wanted to like take a shower, so I gave him a bath bomb.
Okay.
So going through the night, we were just doing like a regular random. I don't know who I should be talking to, but
you can talk to both of us.
We should be doing like random things around the house. It's Sunday, no football on, you know. I mean, I don't know like specific every little detail we did, but just a normal everyday situation. Other than he was in a lot of pain because he gets really bad. Is it okay if I like show you like graphic, like not graphic, but like with my hand motions?
Yeah, that's fine.
He'll get where he has to like poop, and like I swear they're like that big. it might take like 2 to 3 weeks. He has like a GI problem. So, because he takes Vyvanse. So, like, he had went the whole time without Vyvanse. So whenever that happens, sometimes it'll get where his stomach like wants to work, but then like can't. So he spends a lot of time in the bathroom, like kind of like hurting and things like that.
Okay.
All right. So then at this point, the dogs, we have 2 new little, a Frenchie and a what is he? An English bulldog. They're really like
French and English bulldog.
Yeah, they are. They are. They're really kind of like Sadie's the French bulldog. She's kind of high maintenance. But the kids always help out a lot with them, but Gannon wasn't feeling too well. And the dogs, they all, how they like know someone's not feeling well. So they were all laying down there and it was gassy, like very, very, they're back with that, very, very gassy or whatever. And, life goes on. But so Gannon had started a candle. Again, normal day. He's very like responsible in terms of like, if you give him something and say, do this, and like a list to prepare, it's fine. So we let him, do things like that. Like Albert lets him like use the box cutter to cut the boxes down, and like teach him things to be like a independent, growing up adolescent. So I didn't see a problem with him, light a candle, whatever.
Okay.
Well, I don't remember the exact time. I'd have to look at when the fire thing went off. I was tired. Albert had left because we spent the whole night up prior with Saturday because he was going to train in Oklahoma. So we stayed up most of the night.
Okay.
Just everybody was going to miss each other, wouldn't see each other for a while, whatever. So I was kind of like, tired. I had dozed off for a little bit. And Lena asked me, could she stay up and still watch the rest of her iPad or whatever. Usually I'm always like, no, like strict, like, hey, no, you can. But I did feel kind of bad because it was just her birthday. And at the same time being her birthday, we had a lot of stuff going on.
Right.
So we made it about her, but like I was trying to give her a little bit extra because not everybody got to make it there. And we went all out for Gannon's birthday. Like we took him to a Rockies game. We took friends with him. I mean, like popcorn, hot dogs. But we didn't do that with her. But in her defense, we bought her a Switch. So it's kind of like different. But she didn't understand that. So I let her stay up longer than she's supposed to. As like a, not necessarily rivalry, but, So she stayed up a little bit later. And so she was still she's a very hard sleeper. And she's hard to pick up, move if she falls asleep or whatever. But I don't care. Barely asleep when I went in there. So it starts beeping. It's like a beep, 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 beep. And I thought that someone was coming in the house. So I look and don't see anyone at any doors or hear anything. So I was like, I thought it was just a sensor. So I hit in our 2564, which is our alarm code, but it didn't go off. And I was like, what is wrong with this thing? So I walked to Lena's room because the alarm is in her room. And I walk back like through the top part of the house, and you've been in the house, so you know the top part of the house.
I haven't been in.
Okay, so there's the upper level, and then there's the below basement. So I like walk back and forth or whatever. I didn't see anything going on. Then it started saying fire, 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 fire. Like it kept saying fire.
Oh wow.
So and I thought it was how like so there's like sensors for your fire alarm, and then there's sensors for your like alarm.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just going to everything, trying to like ban it while it was going off, because I was thinking kitchen, fire, nothing's wrong, whatever. So I was putting like towels over some of the sensors because I thought that was like monitoring the fire thing, whatever. And then I realized it kept going and going. So then I see smoke coming up from the downstairs. So I run downstairs, and my idea of a big fire is anything that I see on fire pretty much, and there's smoke, that's just because I grew up in the country. So, like I've never bonfires and like things like that, So there was smoke coming up through the basement. So the basement has, so like you walk down the basement, there's the sofa and stuff over here. It was coming up through the basement. So I like run back up the stairs, go grab Lane, and luckily, my point telling you about her being not a rough sleeper, she woke right up. So she woke back up, and I like almost like grabbed her, and I was like, get up, get up, get up, get up. I said, I gave her the keys. I said, can you go? I don't remember the exact order, but I said something along the lines of, can you go take the dogs to Daddy's truck and sit there and wait?
Right.
So I don't remember the order of how we all ran out the house, but I know that at that point I did. She ran out, and I can't remember if I ran out to make sure they got the truck or if she ran out by herself. I don't remember that part, but I do know that I know that they had gotten in the truck. I came back inside, run back downstairs, and that's when I was trying to get Gannon because I couldn't get. I didn't know how to get everybody at once. So my main thing was to get the front people out, you know, and then go. So then I ran back downstairs to get Gannon. And then the fire was on the floor over here, then on the sofa. So I'm pretending this is the sofa and this is our floor. So it was right here and right here. And I had saw the candle that was over here. So there was covers everywhere because kids always get on about, they leave a lot of covers laying around all the time. I mean, there's like 10 quilts and LOLs and blankets and all this. So they were all right here. I take a whole bunch of them and I go and like basically smash down on the sofa and the fire to put it out. So I got a burn and then I was like, get up again and started running at that point because it wakes him up. He's alert. He's realizing that the covers and everything's on fire, the carpet's on fire, and we all go outside. So we get in Albert's truck and we drive off. And I drove off in panic because I saw that I put the fire out. So I knew that there was no, you know, like nothing wrong, that it wasn't going to keep going. I drove off in panic because I was like, oh my gosh, what do I do now? Like, we break the carpet, you know, we done this and this. Gannon's upset, freaking out because he's scared he's going to get in trouble and da-da-da-da-da. So, you know, like the whole talk was going on. So we drove maybe around the block a little bit and came right back. So we came back in and like developed a plan for the next day to figure out. Honestly, we were gonna fix the carpet and try to like not say anything. And the reason for that is because like Albert freaks out about every little thing. If the kids do something and I'm on like me, and he'll be like, "You did this. You weren't being a good stepmom. You weren't doing this. You weren't doing that." And so we both kind of were like a little like worried about it, and he gets very like crazy like if something goes wrong. So that was the plan: go to sleep, rest.
You're a
He was
little
gonna stay out of
cunt.
school. We were going to get the carpet fixed and then go from there because something was hurting. So Lena didn't want to sleep in her room. You know, everybody was still kind of like frazzled, and I think Lena slept with me or on the sofa. I brought the dogs up, and Gannon he wanted to go in his room at that point because he was already sleeping on the sofa. Okay. So that's where Sunday, like pretty much kind of like stopped and everybody went to bed and yada yada yada. And I think I sent Albert messages because he was sleeping, was on a different time zone, and he didn't see him that night. So.
Okay.
And I didn't feel that no one was in harm. Let me make sure I say that because the fire was not going. Now, I know that Gannon had like black marks all on his shirt, like smoke marks. But he had on a long sleeve shirt and a short sleeve shirt because sometimes he has on whatever. He had on a short sleeve shirt with a long sleeve shirt. So I didn't see him in any kind of like nothing other than the little burns that we had. I didn't see.
Where did you see
anything
burns
to
on
that
Gannon?
All right, so with Gannon, I just saw that. Okay, so like on the top, like right here. So like say the shirt's right here. So like right here there was a burn, and the reason for that was I think whenever like he was trying to come up, it kind of burned him a little bit. I'm not gonna make an assumption. I don't really know. And as far as that, I didn't see anything. Like I didn't know any like, other differences or anything like that. All I saw was that. I saw you okay. He ran out the house. He was firing out the house. Everything was normal. Yada yada yada. Now I'm gonna let you know in a little bit why he was bleeding. But
Okay.
at that point, when you get to the Monday morning thing, I'll let you know about that.
Describe the flames for me. How tall are these flames? Is it like smoldering on the carpet, sort of kind of creeping across like a grass fire, or is it like coming up, working its way up the couch? Like how is this working?
It's I really don't know. I know that it was like here, centralized on the floor.
I don't know if she tried to set him on fire necessarily. What I think happened, and I've stated this before, what I think happened was she's telling the truth to some degree as far as what happened on the hiking trip, and that Gannon pooped his pants, and that she, and I think what happened was that she lost her patience with him, that being with whatever other circumstance, she lost her patience, and I think that what happened was she hit him and left some sort of mark, as far as how many times, but something that she would be forced to explain. So no, Gannon had stomach problems to where he would do that from time to time. It's not a very uncommon thing amongst kids. But he had a stomach issue, and because even Al testified to this. So what I believe took place was she lost her patience with him, and it got physical and left marks on him that she would have to explain, and decided to make him disappear. But the manner in which she did that, we know it was extremely violent. I don't remember offhand how many times she shot him, how many times she stabbed him, but it was a lot, and she bludgeoned him as well. So whatever took place at that point, I believe she hated him. After whatever happened, she hated him. She resented him for putting her in this position. She blamed him. And, you know, I think that's a question of she felt unappreciated and overwhelmed, and she saw herself as some sort of martyr in the entire situation that is her life, where she doesn't have to worry about anything. But she, wants a better husband, and she feels unappreciated, and she's jealous of Landon, and she hates Gannon because she hates Landon. And I think that she was her hatred and anger was mostly focused on Al and Landon in killing Gannon, not as much him. I think she resented Gannon because he represented something that she could never have, and Gannon was a great kid. And this bond that Al and Landon would have always had, she felt threatened by. And visualized Gannon being the product of this. And she did what she did. That's my theory on the rage aspect of it.
But like I could see, I think the smoke might have kind of intimidated me more because I spent the whole night coughing. So I think that kind of intimidated me so much because I couldn't. The visibility was starting to be a little bit, like as if I had walked into a small fire.
Because here's the thing: is I can't get behind the theory that that she tried to burn him necessarily, because I believe that she is operating from a place right now where she doesn't believe that they're ever going to find Gannon. She still thinks that she's getting something over on everyone. So that's why I'm just like, the burns, we'll never know. The body was too decomposed, from what I remember the coroner saying, to determine whether or not there were actually burns. So yeah, so if there were burns, I'm wondering, because we see how her mind works. She thinks of these most elaborate schemes. You got the Eduardo aspect of it. You've got the Quincy Brown thing. It's just, you've got all of these factors where she has to go overboard in coming up with schemes. I'm wondering if she hurt him and made marks on him, and then and then burned him and did so to try to cover up the marks and come up with some story that he was trying to light a candle and set the carpet on fire, and the couch or whatever he did to the couch, getting wax on the couch or something. And he was crying and he was worried about his burns. And the way she was talking about it was just because why was she recording that other than just to try to back up some insane story that she created? So I'm of the opinion that I still believe that what she did was she hurt him, and did so in a way that she couldn't explain, and then yeah.
I was just afraid that it was gonna, because like upholstery for the couch. That was my biggest concern, was the upholstery for the couch. So
Okay.
so I would say it was like maybe like in this area, like right here. It wasn't like here.
So the flames were 2-3 feet high. You think? How
Wait.
much light did you see coming off of this through the smoke?
Wait a second.
Okay, and that's fine if you don't know.
I'm not like
Yes.
a professional to, and I was in the moment of freaking out
Just
to
a second there.
like give you an accurate answer.
Sure.
Because I don't want to.
And that's fine if you don't know. How much light did you see coming?
That was my biggest concern. As if I had walked into a small little fire, and I was just afraid that it was gonna, because like upholstery for the couch. That was my biggest concern, was the upholstery for the couch. So
Okay.
so I would say
That's really strange. Why was the upholstery of for the couch her biggest concern? She had already explained that Gannon had been burned. Now maybe she's just explaining right now, because they're trying to catch her on a fucking lie is what's going on here. They're asking her to describe the fire in detail that really at the end of the day doesn't matter. Once the trial came, the trial, nobody hardly talked about the fire at all. The fire was borderline irrelevant. So here she is, and she's telling a story about this fire, but I feel like these investigators are totally onto her in the sense that, okay, let me just fuck with her and see what she's going to lie about. Let me start asking her details about the fire that don't really matter. Like, how high were the flames? How bright was it?
it was like maybe like in this area, like right here. It wasn't like here.
So the flames were 2-3 feet high. You think? How much light did you see coming off of this through the smoke?
I don't know.
Okay, and that's fine if you don't know.
I'm not like a professional to, and I was in the moment of freaking out to like give you an accurate answer.
A professional what? A professional firefighter? I mean, it doesn't take a firefighter to see a fire in, let's say, a kitchen, right? How big was the fire? Oh man, shit was like up to here. Like, were they blue flames more, or I mean, no, man, they were, and they were fucking, the wind was blowing. I could describe, if I was looking at a fire and trying to put it out and I had to explain the fire, it would be very easy. Right, a professional observer, right? It would be extremely easy to explain, to describe the fire that I saw, I feel like. Or to even just straight up be like, through the smoke, I really couldn't see how much fire there was. It was hard to tell. Could have been bigger than it looked. I mean, she just is tripping over her own words here because she had prepared a lie, because she came in there willingly. So she prepared stories in her mind of how she was going to explain them. And she's getting thrown curveballs by in the form of questions of certain details that she may not have thought of. And that's exactly what's happening right here. Okay, describe the fire. Because when she was rehearsing this in her car on the way over, she wasn't imagining the police officer asking her, okay, describe the fire. How bright was it? Could you see it well through the smoke?
Because I don't want to tell you what's here, and it might have been here. I don't want to tell you this, and this. I don't know.
This is all based off of your memory to the best of your ability.
Right.
And that's all
Right.
it is. Okay.
I do know that I saw covers coming up on fire.
What was what covers were coming up on fire?
Like he had a cover on because he was sleeping on the sofa.
What was he covered with?
What do you mean?
What kind of blanket? You had mentioned there was.
All right. So right there, this detective's her alarms are going off because she just said there was a cover that caught on fire, and Gannon had a cover on him, and so she wants to hear more. Now she's like, "Oh, whoa, okay, what was it made of? What happened here? Are you trying to like explain?"
LOLs, there's quilts.
Oh,
there's
like
always,
which color?
What blanket was he using?
Oh, I'm not sure. There was a couple that were there. There was a black. They were all. Some of them. I put them all back in that bin that was sitting there. Did you? He said you didn't.
I haven't been in the house.
Okay, so there was
no.
black. It was like a little furry. There was watermelon ones. I don't remember specifically which one he had, but I know that there was blankets in the area because they always leave blankets around it.
Okay, it's important that we.
But the whole operation.
Yeah, let's also remember. It's important to remember that he was alive after this fire allegedly took place. He was alive because there was a recording of him and her talking about it, him crying. So he was technically alive. So the idea that she tried to set him on fire while he was lying in bed, because that's where the actual murder took place. So I don't think that the burning took place at that point. I think it happened prior to that, if it happened at all. And I'm only saying that because we never saw any evidence that Gannon was ever burned. But he did mention, I believe he did mention burns in that recording. It's very hard to hear, but I think maybe he did. But whatever fire took place happened before she actually murdered him.
And when I grabbed them and put it out, I grabbed them all and done it. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Were any of them like damaged whenever that happened?
Oh yeah, they all. I left them all there when I showed them that night that, like they were damaged or whatever.
Okay. Well, I haven't been in the house either.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was speaking to you like you.
Yeah. Nope. I didn't go into the house either, so I was just trying to make sure that we're.
Yeah.
So then Gannon decides that he doesn't want to go to school because of his tummy issues, or because he's going to help you with the carpet. What is?
It was kind of a combination of both.
Okay, and who excused him from school?
But I had texted Albert and said, could he not go to school for his stomach?
Okay.
Because he was hurting with his stomach, but also the whole plan was that we were.
So that's interesting too. So I forgot about that. It's another possibility. Another working theory of mine is that he refused to go to school that day. And she got physical with him because she was demanding that he go to school. And she probably had plans of her own. See, that's the thing is she never tested positive for any drugs. I don't even know if they tested her, or at least in time, because I seriously think that she is a meth head. I seriously think she is a meth head, and it just never came up. It never became a relevant thing to prove in court. There was so much other damning evidence that it really wouldn't have mattered. It would have just appeased my curiosity. But but I think that she had her own plans and probably got pissed off about Gannon being embarrassed to go to school because of his stomach issues and being made fun of by the other kids or whatever. And they had an argument, got physical about it, and she left marks on him that she would have to explain.
We were going to figure it out.
So who actually contacted the school to excuse him?
It wasn't me. I didn't. I don't know.
Okay.
And we'll never know. That's the crazy part. We'll never know. Like, even Chris Watts can't get his story straight. He's already in prison. And this is somebody who just lies as an involuntary action. She can't stop herself from lying. She's constantly lying. So, and Al testified to this, that she's always been deceptive and manipulative. So this is somebody who just can't help but lie. And so if you were to say, if you were a journalist and you were to go to prison and interview her, you're not going to get honesty from her, because another journalist will go there and interview her and they'll get a different story. We will never, ever know definitively what happened as to why she got triggered and murdered Gannon. We will never know. There's no way for us to ever know.
Did someone contact? Because I didn't.
I would assume that
Okay.
somebody would contact the school, or you probably would get like a phone call. I know with my kids' school, if they're not there by 8:15, the office.
Then they would call Albert, not me, because he would have the like the automated system where he's like, your child's missing. Your child is missing from school today, whatever.
Okay. So that's Sunday, and you're saying a lot of we and that kind of thing. So you mentioned earlier that Harley had gone to work.
Mm-hmm.
She got called into Massage Envy.
Mm-hmm.
So who went on the hike?
So it was originally going to be all of us. Harley, me, Gannon, and Lena. And then Harley got called in. She switched shifts with someone, but then that person, like, I guess the policy is if that person agrees to take your shift, but then they'll come, you still have to come or something. I don't know. But, so she just was like, I have to go. She's only going to be working there like a few more weeks or whatever. So I told her, I was like, don't burn any bridges. I know it sounds crazy that you have to do that, but you got to go in. So she went into work on Sunday.
Okay. So it ended up being you, Gannon, and Lena that went hiking.
Right.
Okay. And so then let's go through Monday.
Okay,
Yep.
Yeah, Monday is when the murder took place. So, so Sunday was the alleged fire, and Monday, law enforcement investigators believe that the murder happened around 3-ish in the afternoon, because she was seen. Yes, there was doorbell camera footage of Gannon getting into the truck, and then there's a second set of feet when they get back, and law enforcement's, they obviously believe that was Gannon because the murder took place in the house. So they believe it happened after they got back from running those errands.
All right, so we wake up on Monday. Normal. How we wake up. And you're like, everybody gets up, whatever. Gannon stays in bed. he already knows that we are, going out and about today. That was the plan. I walked Lena out to make, because usually Gannon walks her outside. So I walked Lena out to the front door and around to make sure I seen her around the corner to get to the bus stop, and she did.
Okay.
I come back inside. I don't remember if I laid down a little bit. I probably played on my phone for a little bit, wasted a little bit, because she goes outside at like 6:50, 6:55, still early, take the dogs out, things like that. Well, I go down, start talking to Gannon about, hey, like, this is the plan, like, go downstairs, the basement, whatever. I say basement, but as in, like, his room is downstairs, it's a furnished basement. And I realized that Gannon, he actually had, like, marks, like, on his arm.
Okay, right there. See? And that coincides with what I'm thinking here. Emily Biz, I think she told him Sunday night he could stay home from school. Right. Now, that's on her word, but I believe that absolutely is what happened. I believe that this argument about not going to school, if that's the case, I still think it's more along the lines. That's just a second theory. My strongest theory is the one that I said earlier, that it was the hike, and something happened, and then she lost control, and he may have tried to refuse to go to school Sunday night. That could be the case, but whatever it was, she was obviously incredibly enraged about the fact that she had to spend all day Monday with him. So I'm wondering if she left marks on him Sunday night and then said, okay, you could stay home from school, because he would have to explain those marks if he went to school. Here she is talking about other marks. Maybe they were marks left on his arm because she grabbed him. Let's listen to that real quick.
But as in, like, his room is downstairs, it's a furnished basement. And I realized that Gannon, he actually had, like, marks, like, on his arm, and they were actually, like, peeling at that point. And I didn't.
Okay, she's describing the burns again, and I'm wondering if she burned him to try to cover up. Because, like I said, she's crazy enough to come up with some scheme like this, where she grabbed his arm, bruised it, and then covered it up, tried to cover it up by burning his arm and telling him, hey, we gotta do this, and then you have to say that you were playing with a candle and blah blah blah, because if we don't, then the lady in the house is going to kick us out, blah blah blah. Just whatever the hell she had to do to try to, like, cover up that she left a bruise on him from grabbing his arm. That's just a theory. I'm not saying that I believe it, just speculating here as to what could have happened.
I swear, I did not realize that they had, I don't know if, like, they start, like, because burns are sitting there, I don't know if they started, like, peeling, like, overnight or, like, whatever. And he has, like, really bad anxieties. So whenever things are peely or, like, things like that, he bites his own nails a lot anyway. Like, anything that's, like, loose and things like that, he bites them. So I don't know if, like,
she's trying really hard to explain away why Gannon had a wound on his arm. And it's all blaming him. He has really bad anxiety. So he was probably picking it and making it worse than it was.
I guess his burns, like, burned a little bit. And when I do this, I don't mean, like, I'm giving you a location. I'm just saying, like, as in burns, like, on your skin. I guess when, like, like, pull a little bit stretchy or whatever.
It's interesting how she's really worried about how they're going to interpret what she's saying. That's the sign of a liar.
On the arm, it kind of gets a little stretchy and peeling. Mm-hmm. So then I was, like, freaked out, because I was like, I didn't know that that his arms were like that. So I'm like crying because, and this is where I have to start telling you.
I mean, and that's also a very probable likelihood that she always abused him, you know, and managed to do so without leaving marks normally, but she was probably always abusive. It's safe to assume that she was, not just based on how brutally she murdered him, but it's safe to assume that she was because Harley even testified that she hit her. That if she spoke out of turn, she'd get a backhand across the face. So it's safe to assume that this was a very abusive woman. She's obviously mentally abusive. She's obviously emotionally abusive. She stole money from Al. She lied about it. And it was thousands of dollars. And what the hell did those thousands of dollars go to? I can't remember the dollar amount, but it was a shit ton of money. And it was never recovered. And he never found out exactly what the money was for. He just knew she stole it. So where'd that money go? I mean, is it not fair either to assume that whatever she is involved in, where she would need that kind of money and just take it without worrying about the consequences, without worrying about the fact that Al is going to totally notice that, and that all she has to do is just lie and lie and lie and lie and wear him down until he gets tired of asking. Is it unfair to think that she had something planned that day involving whatever nefarious shit that is, and Gannon got in the way of that? Gannon fucked with her schedule about something, or maybe Gannon witnessed something. What if him staying home from school and pooping his pants on the hike has absolutely nothing to do with why she murdered him? What if that's the case? What if she had some shady shit planned, and then Gannon, she had no choice but to take Gannon with her to do whatever she was doing, and he saw or overheard something he shouldn't have and asked a question that he shouldn't have. I mean, she spent the whole day with him. Think about how long 1 minute is, right? Think about how long 1 minute is. Imagine you're hungry and you put a Hot Pocket in the microwave, right? You ever feel like that 60 seconds just takes for fucking ever? So just imagine what takes place. You could have an entire conversation in that minute, an entirely informative conversation in that minute that it takes to cook your Hot Pocket. Imagine what could have been seen or heard in the span of them waking up in the morning and him being murdered after 2:30 p.m. That's a lot of time for overhearing a cell phone conversation in the car, seeing a text because she's using all kinds of different phones. Probably not a text because that would have came up in the trial, but right. Probably saw or overheard something, and Gannon could have threatened to tell Al, or he was asking a question and being too curious, and she got overly paranoid and got angry with him for even asking and murdered him.
like, I'm like very, like, I was scared because my thought process was Albert is going to kill me. Like, because I made a mistake as a parent and forgot to like really check him down. And he really got a little bit more burned.
Oh, come on with this.
So I was freaking out because it's like he's gonna kill me. And Gannon's like, it's okay, like there was blood, and like he had on his arms, and as it was peeling,
Oh, God.
I should have called the hospital and just asked. I don't know enough about burns, but I should have called the hospital and just asked, like, I made a mistake. I didn't. I swear to y'all, I didn't know they were that bad. I did it all. So I feel horrible. So here I am. I know it's not, about me, but as a person, I was feeling horrible that I didn't call Albert to say, they're like this. So I told him, I said, okay, listen, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna put some like aloe on your arms, and things like that. And I was like, it's gonna be okay. We're gonna fix it. We're gonna, and all I kept thinking about was we're gonna fix it. And I don't know in my mind how I was gonna fix it. As far as he wasn't in pain. He wasn't saying like I'm hurting or anything like that. He was more of like peeling it, like like it was like almost like it was like a boil. Am I saying the right word? Boil, like blister, like a blister.
Oh, she's
so I was
all
thinking
good
like
now.
it was pulling a blister, Okay. So
Yeah. She's back to like she cleaned up real quick there.
So there was blood, and then so I'm like holding him, and I had blood on me. And when I say blood, let me explain to you. I don't mean like dripping out, pouring everywhere blood. So let me not like give you that thought process, because sometimes when I say like if I say flames, to me I'm like this is a big flame,
Like right now, look at how engaged the detectives are. They're totally engaged because they just saw an act and they know it's an act. It's too obvious that it's not an act. At this point, they are a mixture of fascinated and suspicious.
Yeah. So there was blood. So I was just so like freaked out. So I was like, we'll just clean it up. Don't worry about it. We'll figure it out.
Where's the blood at?
So the blood was on his arms, on his like sheet that he had, which we washed the sheet. So it was on his sheet. It was on his arms, and he had some on like his arm had, I guess from like sleeping or whatever. He had some on the wall. So we cleaned up everything. I put like garnish the. Am I saying that? Garnish like the wrap thing. So I just put a little bit of wrap thing, and I was like, we'll check it with the aloe and see if it gets better.
Bro, you have a doctorate in education and you worked in schools, yet you don't even know what a gauze is.
My next thing was I'm gonna assess the situation in so many hours, and if it looks, because I did look online and it said like if it turns a yellow color that it could be infected or whatever, and I was like that was gonna be my next step. So I don't want you to think that I was like neglecting the fact that.
So you realize that he's got a burn. You do some treatment that you think is appropriate at the time, and then you tell yourself, I'm going to do this follow up with him. Okay.
Right.
So then what happens after you take care of Gannon and make sure he's okay?
Honestly, I'm pacing the house, and I know there's two things I got to fix. And when I tell you that Albert will freak out over things, I just want you to know that. So Emma, I want you to picture in my mind of how I'm like afraid to be like, okay, I got to fix these situations, and I need to fix them fast with carpet and things like that. Okay. So
she's explaining the cleanup already. Like she's already figuring that they're going to search the house. It's just a matter of time. They're going to search and they're going to test the house for blood. And she's already trying to explain this away. And you hear her, she's trying to control how they interpret what she's saying too, by simply saying, okay, just so you guys know, well, I want you to understand why I had to do certain cleanups, because Al, he'll lose his mind. Like I'm deathly afraid of Al. So, that's why I did such a harsh cleanup, and that's why you'll probably find blood. And she's smart enough not to outright say that.
You're lying. And you're a piece of shit.
Number one, I was like, I need to fix the carpet, and number two, I need to figure out, like, assess, like I said, does Gannon need to go get like some burn cream or whatever? So I said, let's get dressed. We're gonna leave out. I think I told you guys it was like maybe 10:35 or whatever the time frame we left. So this is where I should have like made this mistake. So I drive to so Larson Ranch. At the end of Larson Ranch is a bunch of new builds, like construction, things like that. I drive to the new builds.
What?
I was gonna be like, hey, look, somebody here
Bro,
knows
what
how
are you
to,
talking about, man?
fix it. Because if I get online and start calling people, then they'll be like, make an appointment. I figure I might find somebody that, would do like a little side job and come and help us fix when I say carpet, I'm talking about fix the living room, the spot that I had cut out or whatever. So I did. I pulled up. On the back part, there were some new houses being built, and there were some like Hispanic, and I'm not saying that to be like discriminatory. They were Hispanic people that were out there, and I was like, "Hey, do you know where you can get the carpet that is in the Larson Ranch model home?" So I told them the model home, which was the same home that we had. I mean, I don't know if it's the model home, but I gave them the name because I asked, like, I looked online for the company for the name. I said it's in there. He's like, everybody has that same carpet. Yes. So we got a roll of the carpet.
Where'd you get that from?
We got it from the guy on the scene. Like I say, the guy on the scene, but the construction area. So we got the carpet from the guy in the construction area. Well, I didn't get it then. Oh shit! I'm sorry. This is where I messed up. I gave him, and this is why I couldn't tell you this in front of Albert. I gave him our code to get in because he was going to go fix it, and I just assumed working in the house, he was going to be okay, whatever. And me and Gannon left. I just said, hey,
Did you give him the garage door code?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And what about the alarm?
Well, if you go in through, say, like you're walking in through our house, there's no sensor, so we always keep it on our alarm, and you can walk in through the garage and the alarm will never set off or on. Never. And the reason for that is like there's no door. Like there's nothing that tells that door that it's open. You see what I'm saying?
So you don't have a sensor there.
Right. So we just always, and the kids come in every day in the garage and never have to like set, reset, anything like that.
Okay.
So me and Gannon go on. I don't remember exactly where we went first. I know we rode a little bit because I was looking for different places to buy the dogs some like different cute outfits because sometimes I get them at Ross. But Petco has some really good deals going on right now. So I was like, I'm gonna go to Petco. Gannon was like, at that point, it was like he wanted to lay down because his stomach was hurting. He wasn't complaining about like any like pain on his arms or anything like that. He just said he wanted to lay down because his stomach was hurting. So we were in Albert's truck. So we lay down. I mean, he lays down in the back of the truck. So he's just laying down, whatever. I went to Petco. I can't remember if I went into store beside Petco. I know we went some places around town, just different locations.
What places did you go to?
I know I went to Petco. I know I went to a gas station to get gas.
Which Petco did you go to?
The one at, is it Nevada and something?
Okay.
I don't really know.
The newer
sure.
one, it's like that
it
bigger
is nice.
shopping center?
It's a nice area. That's the area I basically was in for. I wasn't gone that long for most of the time frame. That was the area that I was in, and then I made the wrong. When you're coming back and it tells you go this way, I made the wrong exit. Like I got on the wrong one, so I went back. I guess that would be I went north a little bit before I turned around to come back because I made the wrong one. So I get back and let's see. Did we go eat at that time? I feel like I didn't get anything to eat. Maybe I just got Starbucks. I could look at my credit card or something like that. See if you want to look and see what I spent that day. You want me to look?
No.
Okay.
Eventually, yes.
Okay.
That would be helpful.
Okay. So I remember what happened. Then I realized I had to go back to Petco. That's why we turned around and came back. Because I started off, I bought 2 outfits, maybe 1 or 2, and then I came back in Petco and I got the rest of the outfits that were on there because I was like, I'll go 2 more for this price. So I did go back to Petco twice. So I'm sure you'll see that.
How long in between did you go?
Let's see, if we left at 10 something, it's like a 30-minute drive from Larson Ranch-ish. So if I got there, got gas, got Starbucks, maybe I was there at 11-ish. I don't want to say a time.
I'm
because-
saying, so you go to Petco the first time, and then how long in between the first visit and the second visit to Petco?
You see how she said, I don't want to say a time. She knows she's being interrogated. I find that really interesting. She knows that she's being interrogated. That's how she worded that. She didn't say, well, I don't know. I don't want to say a time. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to incriminate myself. It's basically how that comes off.
Oh. Can I give you that, like, looking up
A guesstimate or
maybe an hour?
Maybe an hour?
Maybe.
Do you have like any tracker apps or anything on your phone? Because I know, like, for me, I have that Life 360, and it'll tell me. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
It'll tell me, what my short trips are. It'll even tell me if I walked somewhere. It's freaking awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, I just get tracked by Google. I have Android phone, so it just tells me. My family likes to know where I'm at, so
Well, I do that to Harley because Harley, was the only child, and then her father was killed. So it's always like she and I, and like she was like really all I had until I got remarried or whatever. So I kind of like do maybe a little overboard of stalking them.
It's not wet. It's greasy, man. It's oily from not washing it.
You know what? I
do that right now. I'm like, all right, let's see.
Do you have the one with the subscription? I'm like trying to figure out if I should get that or not.
I don't. She always says something about purchasing it because she said it would tell if
like
you
the
like
crash detection.
Right, that's what she was saying.
Yeah.
And she was saying that it was kind of like how the Apple Watch would do if you had a crash detection. It would
Right. She's doing that to sound. She's doing that because she thinks it makes her sound authentic, but she's also doing it because it confuses. She thinks that she's being smarter by confusing everyone.
alert authorities. They'll say, yeah. Okay, this is, I don't know if this is like a service thing, but it's on. I would say, I'm waiting on it. I would say hour-ish because I'm a very indecisive person when it comes to like shopping. So I had to go back and make my mind up. I can leave right here, but it's loading. I think maybe.
Can I see it? Maybe it'll give me better reception over here.
Yeah.
Oh shoot. Do you have a password or something? I can put it in.
No, I could do my fingers.
Okay. Sometimes this corner.
She didn't want her knowing her password. I mean, I wouldn't want no cop knowing my password to my phone either. Like, I don't want anybody who has the power to somehow like alter my life, like whether they had a reason to or not, they're not fucking getting the password to my fucking phone.
Corner, if you hold it up high, it'll, because I know people watching, I want them to have my passcode in, and they'll know our code for a lot of stuff. All right, here we go. Is it working? No. Oh, that corner is like typically the sweet corner.
Hold it up here?
Yeah. We can set it down here.
I mean, it was slick of the cop to like to like try. You got to give her that, you know. Oh no, you got a password? I could just put it in. Like, no, I got it.
Just see if it kicks on. Okay. Okay, so you make the second trip to go back and buy more outfits, and then where do you go from there? Is Gannon still telling you that he wants to like lay down? How's he doing?
Something happened.
There you go. Yeah, I told you this was a sweet corner. It says purchase could not be completed. I didn't purchase anything. It says purchase cannot be completed. Huh. What does that mean? I have no idea. I've never had that pop open before. Purchase could not be completed.
Now, also remember, what they're paying attention to most right now is how she's reacting to how protective, like how she's showing how protective she is of her phone and how suspicious that seems. Because remember, by the end of this interview, they tried to take the phone from her while they got a warrant. They were stalling and they were keeping her here, which we'll go over at some point. They were stalling because they wanted what's on that phone. This interview told them, we want that phone.
Well, I mean, we tried. I guess
It
it
says
says
to
to
access
access signal, so.
Your free membership includes 2.
How long have you guys had that app?
Oh God, since she started driving for a long time.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe a long time. Yeah.
Because I want to say, like, I don't, it's never had me do a purchase.
It just says get more history. It didn't even ask me to put anything. It just says the purchase could not be completed.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Which they did. I mean, they got a warrant for the phone. They took the phone. And they and then they had, computer techs break into the phone.
That's bizarre. That is bizarre. You didn't hit anything. I didn't hit anything. Okay. So you go back to Petco the second time. Does Gannon, these places that
Sorry,
you...
I was going to say, it says crash detection disabled. Does that mean I don't have the...
Yours looks different than mine does. And you don't have a subscription?
Mm-mm. Like, it gives me, but it sends me all the alerts. Like, it says, like, Carly arrived home.
Well, yeah, I mean, I get those too.
Yeah.
If you have certain places set, like
No,
work
I get them
or
with
home.
Yeah, well, I get the work at home, but it'll say completed a 4-mile drive, completed a 15
Oh,
mile.
okay.
See what I'm saying? Like,
I think we might have different versions because mine is
Okay.
Android. So, anyway, that's neither here nor there. So, when you and Gannon are out running around to these places and getting your gas and your coffee and Petco a couple times, and does he go into the stores with you?
No,
or?
but I parked, and I know you're going to see this, so I'm going to say that I parked on the front, and like, I don't know if you'll probably, if you see the Petco cameras, I'm in the, can I show you? Sure. I'm in the store a lot of times walking back to the front door.
See, she's being defensive because this is very interesting because right now the detectives, they haven't even hinted towards getting a search warrant for her house. They're, or getting a search warrant for, or asking the neighbors for any footage. She's like, I'm sure you're going to see this. So I'll explain it to you. It's like, she's already acting on the assumption they're trying to prove that she's responsible for whatever happened to Gannon. She's already acting on that assumption. It's extremely telling to law enforcement, I would imagine, especially seasoned detectives, that she is just talking based on, okay, yeah, you're going to look for this and you're going to find this. So I'm going to explain it away before you even get down there. And she's never even hinted to even going through all that,
And my point of doing that is because I was making sure that I didn't see him, like, if he needed something or like getting out or whatever. And he stays in the car. Like, I really stay in the car all the time with, like, if like Lena's in the car, he'll be like, it's okay, stay here, buddy, we'll be right back. Didn't think anything of it because he had his Switch with him and he was playing his Switch.
Did he know what store you were in?
Yeah, Petco.
So, like, if he needed you or
right,
whatever else.
Right, but and I did keep walking to the door several times, and I'm pretty sure I did it on the second visit too, walking back to the door just to make sure, like if he was like, oh,
sure,
like I need you or whatever.
Sure.
So yeah, you can see that on there. So do you need to know like what I did in there, or
so you're just in there shopping, and then
it wasn't even a long shop.
Okay.
Like it wasn't.
And then you come back out, and then where do you go?
So I know we were right in that area, like different places, but I don't think I stopped anywhere else specific to get anything other than Starbucks. I made a wrong turn, and then the 2 times at Petco, and I was looking for Marshalls, but
After the second time at Petco, did you go anywhere?
I think after that Petco is when we started to head home.
Okay, so you go home.
And I want to give you like an accurate of that if I pull this up, because I feel like right after Petco we went home. I don't
Sure.
want,
If you want to try and bring it up.
Yeah, I don't want you to think that I missed a stop or something. And I will tell you, on the way there, we stopped in. We did stop and get gas somewhere.
Okay.
I can't remember if it was on the way there or way home.
Do you remember what station?
But we did stop and get gas.
7-Eleven.
Here,
Come and go.
If you gotta go,
I hate to do this. Yeah, I need to run out. I'm gonna come back.
Okay.
Okay. It shouldn't take me very long, hopefully. But please continue talking with Detective Houston, and then whenever I get done with that, I'm gonna come back in and we'll get back on again. Okay.
Yeah. Translation. I need to go recover those video footage from Petco. I that's an interesting theory too. Maybe she caught him stealing his medication. He was ADHD. If I remember correctly, I think he was ADHD. But something I had to do. Man, God, I'm having so much trouble remembering. I mean, we watched this trial together, all of it. And it's hard to remember a lot of things about it.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull this up too. And it's a little.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure. The USA app is being slow too.
Is it my phone?
I don't. You can try that corner again. It might. This floor is a little weird.
No, that's plausible, man. I think that he possibly caught her doing something.
After you guys left Petco, so did you buy something there that time, or?
The second time, yes.
Okay.
And I know she kept asking me about what was Gannon doing, what was he, whatever, blah, 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 blah. So I'm going to say this about getting back.
Okay.
So everyone has been, about this whole thing about camera footage and this happened because we didn't see this or didn't see this. So I'm very sorry.
What do you mean, everyone?
So, my whole family is being harassed. My mom is being threatened to be killed. My daughter is being stalked. That's why it took me a while to get here, because I had to put some safety measures in for her own well-being.
Okay.
Now, you see what's going on here, because at this point in the investigation, everyone, including myself, were talking about this case. Everyone was talking about this case at this point. Everyone. YouTube was blowing up over it. And this is what happens right here. This is what happens. What if she had a competent attorney who just, beyond competent, right? What if they didn't find blood spatter? What if they never found Gannon's body? And then what if the defense, if she has a really good defense attorney, what if that really good defense attorney manages to make her out to look like a victim of social media abuse, of social media bullying, being accused of something? This is why we've got to be real careful, people. This is why, because she's already using it as some sort of way to plea for sympathy. She's already using it to try to manipulate the officer into sympathizing with her. I'm being threatened. My daughter's being threatened. We're being harassed and threatened. And what if? Oh, no, totally. It's a manipulation tactic. No doubt about it. But what if there wasn't the evidence that we're now aware of? Because at the time, we weren't aware of the evidence that they had. There wasn't any made public. So imagine that they didn't have the evidence that they had. And they take her to trial. And then she, let's say hypothetically, like I said, she can afford a really good lawyer or a team of lawyers, even like Brian Koberger right now, who might walk, by the way. Be prepared for that. I mean, be prepared for that. So, and then what if this defense attorney, is that what it's going to take for us to like start being more responsible online when it comes to these crime cases? Is that what it's going to take for a situation like that, like what I'm hypothetically describing, that there wasn't enough evidence, but this person gets to somehow they have an attorney who's good enough to convince at least one juror that this poor woman not only is a victim, but also innocent because they lack enough evidence? And then they manage to use this to gain sympathy from the jury that this person was accused. Just think about that. And then nobody's gonna, you know what I mean? And then people are gonna be like, next case. And then a piece of shit like her walks. And it's everyone's fault. It's everyone's fault who jumped to conclusions and created and spun narratives that somebody was guilty when they don't have enough evidence. Think about it. Think about it. It could very well happen. Why take that risk? Especially if you hate them so much and you want justice for this victim. How do you think justice takes place? Like this? No. No. The professionals do it. I mean, yeah, it's just, it'll just, these people take no accountability for what they do. And then they're just going to move on to the next case. And then the next case. Until somebody, and they can only do it to one creator, you know? I mean, I hope the Rucheks are gearing up, man. Because that's what I've heard over the last few years, that the Rucheks are gearing up and going after multiple creators for what they've done. But that's really all it takes. That's what it takes. It's a lot. Look at Canceled Karen. She got sued for $10 million. YouTube wanted nothing to do with her after that. Booted her off of YouTube. And that's what it takes. But it's only like one individual creator. And it takes like a lawsuit for somebody being slandered to stop somebody from doing that. And look at all the damage that somebody like the Critical K did in all the time she was on YouTube. Look at all of the damage that she's done to people who have, who didn't sue her, who didn't have the, who just wanted peace in their lives and were like, you know what? I don't care. I don't even want to deal with this. I just want them to leave me alone and go away. Look at all the damage that creators look at all the damage MGL did. All of the people that she's hurt in using her channel. I mean, and the other way that's going to change is if people start to become aware of it, and then it just becomes a little more popular to actually want facts and actually empathize with victims and their families, and have a higher standard for their content and want that more than just the drama and slinging mud at people without evidence. That's another way it's going to happen, is if people just simply up their standards for content when it comes to things like that. No, I say, you know how I feel about that. I mean, as long as it's going on, I mean, this is my best effort to do the latter, is to trash these people. You know, make people more aware. Expose them for what they are. That's the only thing that is, you know, because otherwise, you know what I mean? Like, and at the very least, I'd rather just piss them off. You know what I mean? Even if it doesn't change anybody's mind, I love getting a rise out of them. Like, yeah, that harsh reality douche, he really got upset. That was fun. And what's funny is these people don't change. Like, it'll be another case that I'll see them spreading misinformation and talking shit on, and then it'll just be another thing to talk about. Thank you so much, Wonderlust. I really appreciate it. Oh man, you're saying thanks for all I do. I mean, I love hanging out with you guys, man, and doing this. You know, it's just yeah, it's more than fun to kick it with you guys. Right. Yeah, see, that's my hope, you know. My hope is that it becomes a little more acceptable, because most creators are just like, I just want to stay in my lane and I don't want to piss anybody off, blah blah blah. But I'm really hoping that, you know, it just, the standard that you guys in my chat have for true crime creators, for the ethics in covering true crime, just kind of spreads. That's what I'm hoping for. That's all I can hope for. And all I can do is just do what I'm doing with you guys here. And I really enjoy it. Now there's still plenty more of that. So we'll go over that again tomorrow. And I'll do 3 or 4 parts if I have to. We'll just go over it and go over it. So well, I mean, yeah. I mean, Plunder was one of the biggest creators that was jumping to conclusions in this case. She took a gamble by spreading that information. She didn't have any proof. But anyways, guys, I am going to wrap this up. I love you guys very much. We will do this again very soon, my friends.